So I've set up both of the 7 gallons. I put some film vinyl background on one of them because it didn't have it, but they are the exact same tanks. These are the ones I got from Jason. Um, I just put this light up there just to see how it look. We're not going to go with that light, I don't think. I've had these in storage for a little bit because this is kind of the idea that I had for these tanks. So let me just see what I got here. Probably have had it for 3 or so months now, but I think I got the right ones. All right. Okay, so this is going to be a multiple day thing, just because we're going to test the ammonia output of Fluval Stratum because I want them to both have stratum. Couple reasons, just speaking because I'm gonna have some plants in there. Second thing is that it buffers the pH, and I'm gonna put shrimp in here. So that's the goal. But if what I am to know is true, then ammonia should go up a little bit. But I don't know if I've ever tested that. I'm not 100%. So we are going to test it. So these are the lights. They're like little pucks. I believe they might come with magnets, or I might just have to put magnets on there, but they'll just go right above the tank onto the metal roof, the bottom of the top shelf. But I just want to see that these are working. Comes with a transmitter, gang valve kind of thing where I can plug in up to 6. I might do 2 more for the top, but these are, we're just going to test it on these bottom 2 for now, see how they work. So these were pretty cheap, fairly cheap. I think I bought a 4-pack or a 6-pack. I think I bought a 6-pack, like 25, 30 bucks. So definitely not expensive as far as aquarium lights go. So while technically these aren't aquarium lights, I hope they'll reach. All right, they're bright. They're plugged in. I don't think they're like a cool white. They might be a warm white. I wish these cords were black, but we're gonna have to make do with what we have. I might just mount this the 6-way splitter somewhere on the back right here. Let's remove this light. This is kind of what we're dealing with. So it'll be like this. I feel like it's enough light, and that'll be good enough for each tank. It's kind of hard to determine with an empty tank, but that's what it'll look like. It has a remote. Let's see what the functions are here. LED controller. So it also came with an LED controller, which I think the remote is for. Does it have batteries? I think it should. Does not have a battery. What? No battery at all. So that's odd. I'll have to dig through the rest of the stuff. Normally they come with a battery and like a little plastic tab that you can pull off. I'll have to see if I can find a battery. Might have one lying around somewhere. It's one of the big ones. But let's just install this controller. And they're strobing. I don't know why. That might be a function. Shoot. Looks like it is a function. All right, I'm going to see if I can find a battery. All right. Found a humidifier remote. Battery sizes match. And of course, this one has the little tab, which the other one should have. So we're just going to swap out the battery. Easy enough. And fingers crossed. Perfect. All right, it works. I don't know why there's strobe modes, but I'm hoping. Oh, thank God. Okay. This is the max brightness. It will dim down a lot. Feels like about 10 levels. All right, so let's dim it down. Let us try to figure out, I don't know why they don't have a battery. Let's try to figure out how we're going to mount it, because I think we're going to use magnets, because that only makes sense, because the back of these are metal, top of this is metal, unless they're like not the right metal. And let's dump in some stratum. All right, got my row of magnets. I'm just going to make sure that, yes. So that's correct. This is not a magnety metal, but I know I should have something I can use, or I'm just gonna have to epoxy / glue these magnets onto the back of that, which I might do that. All right, let's skip that. Skip the lights for now. If I can't find what I'm looking for, I am just gonna glue these onto the backs of the lights, and we'll attach it later. But let's get some stratum. Let's fill these tanks up with water so we can get that started. Okay, I actually just remembered I have UNS contra soil and then a whole buttload of stratum. This is not going to be enough contra soil to fill the bottom of the tank, but I kind of want to experiment a little bit to kind of check out if there is any difference as far as leaching ammonia. So we'll do one tank with mostly contra soil, and then the other tank with all stratum. Okay, I lied. This might be enough. It's almost enough. It's almost enough. So let's go with some stratum. So I definitely should have put the stratum first, because the contra soil, mix them together, I guess. The contra soil is a smaller granule size, so when you're planting in that, it'll be easier. It's not going to be able to tell. But just for testing purposes, we'll see if anything makes a difference. And obviously, we're going to have a little discrepancy in volume. So try to be as controlled as I can. A little bit more in the right tank, and then we are doing the slopescape. Okay, let's just use this light again for now. All right. If you guys can make it out, the levels are pretty even. I think they're pretty good, actually. Right? All right, let's fill them with water. So I'm going to go slow because the displacement, and technically it doesn't matter because I don't have anything in that tank, but I'm just going to take it slow. And then let's speed up this process. You guys can see it's a little cloudy, and I definitely did not go as slow as I said I was gonna. I just turned it up a bit because I got impatient. But I've got a bowl full of water. This is regular tap water, which is gonna act as our control. So in maybe like 3 or 4 days, we'll test the ammonia levels on just the regular tap water that's been sitting the same amount of time as these tanks. I've matched the levels of them pretty well. So I think that's going to be good. I'm going to work on fixing these lights and gluing the magnets to them so we can get rid of this bar. And I will see you guys in about 3 days. It's been exactly a week, so we're going to do some testing. I got my API ammonia test kit. Don't forget, it comes in 2 parts. Make sure you got to shake them up really well. So these 2 tanks, still got some bubbles coming out. I should have scaped them or put in my my hardscape, but I totally forgot about that. But we'll do that today. I did end up adding some tape lines just to see how much evaporation was going to happen. It's about like maybe half an inch, a third of an inch. It's not horrible for 1 week. Yeah, actually, it's not that bad. But I did print these corner clips so I can add lids on, which we will do after we get everything going. I am testing another 3D print that I did, which was a filter. If you guys can see that, you probably can't see it, but all right. It kind of looks like this. So it's a corner filter with a grid. You'd put a foam piece in there, connects together, has holes for the suction cups, and then an uplift tube. It's got a top and then a what is it, a pipe, I guess. But I've been testing it and it sputters. I'll show you guys in a little bit. But we got the 2 tanks. The one on the left is 100% Fluval Stratum. The one on the right is probably about 80% contra soil and 20% stratum. And then I do have a control. So this control, I just straight tap water. Now none of these have been treated. It's been a week, so obviously there's no chlorine. And just for testing purposes, we're going to just use brand new pipettes. So if there is ammonia in any of these, that they're not going to transfer over to the other tubes by residual water being in the pipette. So let's get right under the meniscus. Meniscus, I think that's what it's called. All right, this one's for this one. Yes, 8 of each. I don't know if it matters which one goes in first, but let's pop them in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And bottle 2. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bottle 2 definitely does come out a lot faster, so be careful when you guys are testing. Cap it up, give it a few good shakes, and we're just going to leave it there. Then we'll go on to the second one. Looks good. Do it again. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Second one's done. Shake it up a bit. All right. And then let's go with the control. Now, as a rule of thumb, it's always good to test your tap water every once in a while, just because you never know. I have heard of people's tap water having trace levels of ammonia. Let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. All 3 are done. Normally you want to give it a few minutes. Now with the ammonia testing, yellow is good, green is bad. We'll leave that there. So something I'm going to do today is a water change. So we're going to check the levels. I can already see them turning, and then scape it. Water change, scape, refill, and we're probably going to give it another week and then test it again. And if there's no ammonia in a week later, so a full cycle of 2 weeks, then I'm going to start adding in everything else. Kind of wondering. So I'll probably give it a few days and test it before the week mark, just because ammonia, nitrate, nitrite, it all gets broken down by beneficial bacteria. Clearly there's none in this tank, but there is ammonia. Doing a cycle like that could take a month at minimum, I would say, to be safe. But we've got a lot of fish tanks and we've got a lot of filter media to dump in some beneficial bacteria. So I might just toss on a filter with existing beneficial bacteria and then test it in a few days, just because I know that's going to break down everything. But let's find a white. So all Fluval Stratum. We're looking at green, which I wish I had my thing of to kind of gauge how many parts of ammonia this is. compared to the contra soil. Let's check it out. So it does look like the 100% Fluval Stratum is a little bit darker, just by a little bit. It looks like it has just a little more ammonia, barely noticeable on what the difference is, but just slightly. It's kind of interesting. And then as a control, my tap water that's just been sitting out is just still yellow. All right. Yeah. So there is a slight ammonia leaching from both of the aqua soils. As expected, I just wanted to be 100% sure. That does happen. Obviously, if you have a filter in there with beneficial bacteria, it is definitely going to help break everything down through the cycle, but I don't have anything. So we're just going to drain the tanks probably about, I don't know, 80%, and then start scaping. You can see this, they've cleared up a lot, but they're just going to get dirty again because I'm just going to start scaping and then add new water. But this time we are going to do some adding of a filter. Probably going to just use the green ones that I've been using because this one is not working as I expected. So I'm going to have to tweak them a little bit. But we'll talk about that later. So I'm going to go ahead and get that. We're just going to let the test sit while I drain the tanks. And I'll see you guys back after that. So I just added a Cereus stone. I want to keep this tank more on the simple side. I was debating whether I wanted to do Dragonstone or Cereus. I think I'm going to go with the Cereus. It's dark substrate, dark background, dark hardscape. It's going to kind of get lost in there, but I don't know. I'm a sucker for the stone. I was debating if I wanted to do like a 1-in-1, but I think it'll look nicer if both of them were exactly the same. So we are going to just do that. I don't really have, I'm just looking at my rocks to see what I'm working with. I did end up using all my better ones for the 22 rimless, but again, these aren't meant to be like show tanks. I guess kind of they are. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with them. But we will see what we can kind of do here. And a big part of this is also I don't know what I am doing with the wood. So we are just putting these rock pieces here for now, as the wood just might need more space. All right, so we've got some funky wood pieces. I don't know how they're gonna, if they're gonna fit, but they would look cool. And the problem is going to be kind of getting in here with them. Which ultimately, I guess I could pull out the tank, probably be easier. All right, let's do that. See if this guy fits. so the issue is going to be I want to be able to put a lid on these tanks, and using a piece of wood that's too large is not going to help me be able to do that. So let's try different pieces. All right. This will work. I think something like that is going to be okay. All right. Okay. I'll have to redo that because it's not even on the foam mat. But that's not bad. Let me try the second one. Escapes done for the most part. I'm refilling the water. I did add dechlorinator. The tests still look about the same. I mean, it almost looks like they're evened out in color wise compared to, I don't know, maybe it was too long that they don't really, I don't even know if you guys can make that out. But that is done. All right. Okay, so we're going to add the filters now. So before we get that started, let's replace the light. So if you remember from last time, obviously remember because I cut the clips, but I ended up epoxying the puck lights so they would end up fitting. Well, I don't know if I'm going to do this right now, but all right. Let's pop those on. So they're right here. I already plugged them in, and the magnets are on here. All right. I mean, they stick pretty well. Trying to just see where I want them positioned. I really do wish that the lines were black. I mean, I can definitely just take some spray paint to them to paint them black, but we'll save that for another day. All right, that's what it looks like at 100%. It's kind of cool. It's not, I don't know, we'll see. I wish it was a little bit brighter, but also I know the tanks are dirty. So we'll see. We'll see what it looks like after it clears up. Let's get these airlines in. Let's pop on the suction cups. And then get the airline hose. I do want this to go out. So the flow is, where am I going to have these? I'm going to have probably on the outsides of the tanks with the flow going diagonally. So let's try that. Something else I did buy was a whole, I think it's like 300 feet of aquarium tubing. So eventually we're going to replace all these lines because they're just getting old, dirty. Some are kind of crusty. And when you use them for too long, a lot of the ends get stiff. So I eventually do want to change them all out. Of course, this suction cup onto that. But we're going to start with adding 2 lines to this new gang valve. Got this whole roll off Amazon. It's fairly cheap. If you have a lot of tanks, I would definitely recommend this. I don't know why I didn't go this route before, but for sure, just get it. Just get it. So I'm going to just do a little bit more than I'm going to need, just to be on the safe side. And I don't know where my scissors are. So we're going to use whatever these are called. I just stabbed myself. Air lines are in, connected to the gang valve. I have it on a really low air setting. Let's connect this tube to where it's supposed to go. All right. Angled diagonally. All right, now first you're going to have troubles with them not wanting to sink because it's not saturated. So you're going to want to squeeze out all the bubbles from the sponges themselves. That's going to help this get waterlogged, if you will. Then we'll pop it right on the corners and down. Okay. If you guys can see that, that's what we're doing. Let's get the second one in. Once again, we're going to squeeze out the bubbles from the sponge. And then we'll pop it in the back. Looking like that. All right, so the wood isn't as waterlogged as I thought, I don't think. Keeps on floating up, but we'll give it a few days to get completely waterlogged. Yeah, no. All right. So we'll give that some time. What else are we doing? Let's turn up the air a little bit. I mean, I'm sure that flow is fine, but just to give you guys an idea of how much more flow it can handle, it is actually a pretty good amount. Pipe it down a little bit. We'll have a steady stream, but not too. Oh, it's good. All right. And then we're just going to wait. But we do want to add some beneficial bacteria. So all I'm going to do is just squeeze out a gunky filter into these tanks and then let everything settle together. We'll probably clean some of the glass on the inside And I don't know, we might not even make tops because this guy's just coming out. But we'll see. We're just going to skip it ahead to probably 3 more days, and I think it should be ready. As it's been another 2 days. I just moved the substrate around, so this left one is a little bit cloudier than the right. But I just want to test the ammonia content to ensure that we are on the right track. So I added the sponge filters to the back, and then I did take a small sponge that I had in one of my filters to kind of wring it out in the tanks. So there's a little bit of beneficial bacteria in there. I know the ammonia that's leaching from the substrate still should probably be good enough to keep feeding the beneficial bacteria. So beneficial bacteria, it doesn't necessarily remove the ammonia, the nitrates. So there's still most likely going to be some ammonia found in these tanks. We're just going to let that settle. But I don't know how the light looks, but we're just going to do, I turn off light on this side, actually in this room because of the glare from the tanks. So hopefully it comes out okay. But we're just going to do, maybe if I come down here, one more water change on those two tanks. And then I'm going to add the shrimp. So I've been trying to see if my shrimp have been, let's take this off, coming out at all, but I don't know. I mean, I see one right there under the wood, right in the middle of the frame. And this guy is just a lot more tannins in there, but honestly, for this tank, I've only seen like one or two. So I don't know if I want to completely shock them again. So I've been really debating on what I'm going to do. But I mean, these are how the tanks are looking. I think they look pretty sweet. But let's check out this ammonia. So that's what we're looking like. It's looking pretty white, but let's put it against a man, in the light. I don't know. Might have to turn the light, but you guys can kind of see it. It's not. I see it being yellow. Maybe if I trick my brain, I can say there's a tinge of green in there, but yeah, for the most part, it's definitely yellow. Yeah, so I'm gonna look at that. Give that a couple more minutes. But yeah, so these are the tanks. Will be the shrimp tanks. I don't know what I'm gonna do with the lid situation. The evaporation isn't horrible. Plus, I'll be doing water changes anyway, so I might just live with it. Also, these little snails on the glass, they probably came from this. I don't know. I feel like snails can live through anything because this wood has probably been dried for a while, and I don't know. I don't know how that happens, but I've got zombie snails in there. I know it's not from the rock because that's been in there for months. And the soil, the stratum, the aqua soil was all new. So were the sponge filters. So it's got to be from the wood. Still haven't decided. I've been trying to pull them out. But we'll see. So side by side, I mean, the light's looking all right. It is what it is, but you know, cheap light, easy tanks. yeah, so I guess that's it. Let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna add some plants in there. The blue dream shrimp definitely get lost in the darkness. So I don't know if I'm rethinking that or not, but um, maybe we'll add different kinds of shrimp. All right. Well, anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.